a lot of times what you see when people draw is when they pull the weapon out, I said, they flop it up to the target. Okay? This is bad for a couple of reasons. One, in a lot of shootings, especially a lot of people under pressure, what it proves is a lot of the first rounds that happen are into the ground. People get excited, they start pulling that trigger a little bit too early, you have rounds in the dirt. Okay. Second, if you're behind something, say a barricade, say you're behind a car, and I've seen this happen in real life, draw that weapon, flop it up, bam, smacks into a car, weapon goes over the hood. Things like that. It's not good, doesn't work out. If you're in a physical confrontation with somebody, and you flop that weapon up, you flopped it up right into their gut, right in the middle of a fight. Okay? What you want to do when you pull that weapon is bring it up. Bring it up to your chest, bring it up into a high ready. Okay? There's two reasons for that. One, if there's any obstacles in front of you, you bring the weapon up over the obstacle. Two, you're still pointing down. Okay? You still have that weapon not pointed at anything you intend to shoot. Okay? If you're in a physical confrontation, you pull it up this high, you're going to get a shot off. At least one. If you're too close, you have a misfeed, stovepipe, something like that, fine. But, one shot, hopefully, you took a lot of fight out of that individual. Two, when you pull the weapon up to here and orient toward wherever your target is, you push it past your face, that front sight goes right past your eye. Boom. It's the first thing that you should see when you're looking at that target. What we're going to do is going to go over what we talked about in the podcast real fast. This is our little setup we have for our hostage drill. Okay, we don't have the B-29 targets right now. We're using something a little bit different. But it's going to kind of illustrate the importance of, like I said, drawing that weapon up high and pointing it straight at the target and not flopping it. Okay? What you have is basically two head-sized targets. Okay? We're going to say that this is your loved one, this is your attacker. Okay? This is a bit simplistic. We know that. It's an easy thing to mess with, but it's a fun drill. So, when we go to draw, I'm going to go ahead and do it slow motion first. Just pick it up, point. When I hit full extension, my front sight will be there. I'll pull the trigger, it'll go bang. Then we'll speed it up a little bit. So we're here. Pull that up. Weapon comes off safe. You're pointing to the target. Point to the target. Bam. Okay. Look at the target. That was pretty slow. It was no big deal.
That wasn't the loved one, right?
This is the hostage.
This is the zombie. Okay, got that.
Like I said, we had plenty of time to see that front sight, see it clearly, put it at the center of the target. Okay, when we speed it up, it's probably not going to be in the bull, but it's definitely going to be in the head. Boom. It's pretty quick. Got all this gear on, not used to it. Once again, it's faster, but we're still in the neighborhood. So,
forehead shot will work.
Like I said, what we're doing is just real simple. I'll break it down slow one more time. You reach down, draw your weapon. Go ahead, push it right past your eye. Boom. Right there on target. Okay. As soon as you get that clear front sight on what you're doing, it picks up your speed. Boom. Like I said, when I got all the time in the world to do it, it's looking pretty. But you speed it up, it gets a little looser. So, anyway, like I said, that's something you can practice, something you can work on. It's just, like I said, high ready on the draw, out, squeeze. For it.
Okay, so if you saw my last video, I did that wrong. Actually, I hit the target, sort of. But there's a better way to do that, right, Michael?
Well, there's a little bit more, there's a way to do it that's going to take a lot of your technical error out of it.
Right.
Okay. And basically, instead of you're kind of shooting one heel back, lean back into your deal.
Y'all see that?
Okay. Let's take a second. Okay. Now this is what they used to teach. This is what they used to teach a lot, is weaver stance.
Right.
Okay. So you square up to your target.
Michael talks with his hands, by the way, if you're wondering. Be still!
Yeah. you have to forgive me here. This whole business is new to me.
So square up to the target.
Square up to the target. Okay, like I said, you're gonna want that body center lining everything out to your target.
Okay.
Just like Spencer had, he had that weapon at a high ready, had it good, looking good there.
Okay.
When you bring it up to your high ready, push your elbows fully extended, and all that kind of stuff like that. It takes a lot of the movement out of your body and out of the shot.
Michael's going to show you and teach me what I just did, because I was squared up to one of the targets, but as I had 4 to shoot, I wasn't squaring myself up to every one of them, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, you hold the camera. I'm going to try this again. Squaring myself up to the target each time.
Okay.
So slow motion. Up. Ready. Squeeze. Squeeze. Jam. Squeeze. Squeeze. Hey, I hit all the targets.
Yeah. It's always good when you have time when you're facing the target.
That worked.
Yep. Listen, like, you've seen the movie Collateral with Tom Cruise,
right?
Okay, awesome movie. One of the things they talk about in his weapon training, if you watch the extras in the movie, and it's something that they teach is, when that weapon comes out, boom, you're here.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have multiple targets, there's nothing wrong with readjusting where you're at.
Right.
And squaring back up on targets. Plus you moving is always a good thing in a gunfight.
Yeah, stationary targets get shot.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, well, there you go. Another handy dandy tip, and maybe I'll learn something from that. Maybe you will too.
We'll see.